Hi, this is Frank with a frank opinion. On a few talk shows this week, especially Joe Scarborough's Morning Joe, a lot of conversation by the pundits was on the threat of North Korea, the upcoming summit, whether Kim Jong-un is going to stop his nuclear program in terms of missile capability. And I thought to myself, after hearing this for the 1000th time, who do I fear most? Kim Jong-un or my U.S. Congressman and U.S. Senator? And I'd like you to ask yourselves the same thing. Do you fear North Korea's dictator Kim Jong-un, 35 years old, in complete control of his country, having the time of his life, happy as punch, or your U.S. Congressman and U.S. Senator? I'm going to explain where I'm going with this, but first, let me put this in perspective. Capability, North Korea versus the United States. Population, North Korea, 26 million. Our country, 326 million. Military budget, it's thought that they have possibly a $10 billion effort there. $10 billion military budget. What do we have? $665 billion last year. Missiles on hand, don't know for sure, but we're pretty certain that's anywhere in terms of North Korea of 10 to 60, and as of right now, not in full capability of getting to the West Coast, much less central US of A. Our own missile strength, fully operational. We have about 2 or 3 times more than that. But those that are in place to strike is 1,411. Now I think we have an edge there, don't you think? Is Kim Jong-un really going to bother with this beehive known as the US of A? I don't think so, but I may be wrong. But actually I'm more scared, more fearful of US congressmen and U.S. senators that don't look at the crisis of climate change. Do I want my 16-year-old daughter, I have 2 daughters, one that's 44, just turned 44, another one that's 16, God bless her, and 2 grandkids. Do I want my U.S. congressman and U.S. senator to take a chance like they're at some Texas Hold'em tournament and they're going to go all in, not knowing that they have the best hand? I don't think so. Gun control, a massive problem. Parkland, Sandy Hook. Do I want a U.S. congressman or a U.S. senator that looks at that situation, looks at the thousands of deaths produced by gun violence, the fear that so many students, particularly in middle school and high school, have in terms of going to school? You know, some time back when we had Sandy Hook, President Obama put Vice President Joe Biden, Joe Sixpack, in charge of doing something about gun control, selling it so that we could get universal background checks in place, outlaw assault weapons, outlaw bump stocks, etc. I would have loved that assignment. That was an assignment where Joe Biden, supposedly with the gift of being able to talk to the common man in the United States, the blue-collar, white-collar worker as well, sell it. If President Obama said to me, Joe, I'm going to take you off this particular mission and because I need you on something else, and I'm Joe Biden, I would have gone on my hands and knees and said, no, please, President, I want to continue with this effort for the rest of my term. I want to create a legacy. That's what leadership is all about. That's what caring is all about. Food and drug safety. Think opioids. Medicare for all. I want a U.S. congressman and a U.S. senator to understand and have read or have his staffs read that for-profit health insurance and insuring the 30 million Americans that are currently uninsured and the 85 million Americans that are underinsured with expanded benefits, getting rid of the hellhole that they have to go through in terms of their forms and this and eligibility and everything else. They're incompatible. Medicare for all, single payer is the only way to go. Even the Congressional Budget Office back 1993 said as much. I want a U.S. Congressman and U.S. Senator that believes that's the case and will fight for it. And I fear those that don't. Racism. Give me a break. Let's have somebody in charge of looking for all the ways that we can reduce racism. And there are ways. It can't be just with a conversation, and it can't be just with a march. There are ways. The races have to be brought together to fight for an eradication of racism in our country. Immigration reform. I fear a U.S. congressman or a U.S. senator that looks at the separation of young children from their parents on the border and doesn't go down to Texas and put themselves, their bodies in front of that supposed wall and say enough is enough and get those kids reunited with their parents. Income and wealth inequality in our country is, I'm laughing because it is so ridiculous. When you have one person in the name of Jeff Bezos, and by the way, I do have a boycott Amazon t-shirt, shirt, maybe I should have worn it for this video, that has $140 billion worth of worth, where a handful of people own as much wealth as 90% of Americans. It's not sustainable. I want a U.S. congressman and U.S. senator that understands that. For me, for my children, for my grandchildren, and for all their friends, for you, your kids, your grandchildren, our income and wealth inequality is unsustainable. Air and water quality. No, I don't want any flints. War machine. Constant war. North Korea is an example. We have to always make the case for having the largest military budget that the world has ever seen. If you don't use it, you lose it. So you got to make the case. What scares me more than Kim Jong-un are U.S. congressmen and U.S. senators that have and continue to cede our democracy to corporations. Right now, we do have an oligarchy. Regardless of what you may think in terms of the last elections, unless something is done in terms of dark money, regulations, overturning of Citizens United, overturning of McCutcheon, money is not speech, we're going to have a problem. I fear these people in office to protect us, to defend us, more than I do Kim Jong-un. What about you?